Hello! Words you need. Block 3 для нормально общающихся. Words 201 to 250. И у меня для вас есть вопрос. В видео для этого уровня я говорю на английском, потому что вы все-таки уже нормально общаетесь на английском. Но мне вот интересно, вы меня понимаете, когда я рассказываю? Или вы бы хотели, чтобы я говорил на английском, но чтобы я сделал, чтобы было чуть проще понять? Или вы все-таки хотели бы, чтобы я говорил на русском в этих видео? Так что, пожалуйста, напишите в комментариях, как вам мои объяснения на английском. Сложноватые, нормальные или вообще невозможно понять, и вы бы хотели, чтобы я говорил на русском. Вот, мне очень интересно, поэтому, пожалуйста, напишите мне в комментариях. Все, теперь поехали! Word number 201. Я хочу попробовать другой подход. What's подход in English? I want to try a different approach. Подход, an approach. Approach. Here we have a clipped O before the unvoiced ch at the end. Approach. Little pause, ch. Approach. Approach. A different approach. Of course, the verb подходить is also approach. Никто не осмеливался приблизиться к раненому медведю. Nobody dared to approach the wounded bear. If you have been on an aeroplane, you have probably heard, we are now approaching our destination. We are now on our final approach. So this word approach, когда подходим, приближаемся, вот, to approach. Next, 202. Мы победили нашего врага. We defeated our enemy. There's also the word to beat. We beat our enemy. But beat, it's more informal. Defeated, it's a slightly more formal word. We defeated our enemy. We beat our enemy. To defeat is a verb and a noun. Мы потерпели тяжелое поражение. Поражение is also a defeat. We suffered a bad defeat. Again, here we have a vowel before an unvoiced consonant. Defeat. So we get the y, and then it's clipped. We cut it. Defeat. And we add the t at the end. Defeat. Defeat. So try to make the vowel really short. Do a little pause and then add t with aspiration at the end. A defeat. A defeat. And он все еще не побежден. He is still undefeated. Undefeated. Again, this feet, pause, feated, feated, undefeated. Don't say e. It's e, feated, undefeated. He's undefeated. What do we often see after undefeated? Let's have a look. You can have an undefeated team. An undefeated season, when a team didn't lose a match for the entire season. They had an undefeated season. They had an undefeated record. The record is also about the matches in their season. You can have an undefeated streak. An undefeated streak of 10 victories. So streak is in a row. A streak. You can have a winning streak. A losing streak. So, interesting word streak, but the most important word to remember, defeat, undefeated. Okay, 203. Дворцовый сад восхитителен. Я прямо вот получаю восторг там. The palace garden is delightful. Delightful. Oh, it's so nice. It's delightful. When you say delightful, make your I really light because it comes before an unvoiced t. Delightful. 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 Oh, it's so delightful. And you can hold the l as well. Delightful. 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 And if they were very happy about something, они были очень рады меня видеть, конечно, можно сказать they were happy to see me, they were pleased to see me, но если прямо очень рады, oh, I'm speaking Russian, they were delighted to see me. Delighted to. And what else do we often say we're delighted to? Delighted to with a verb. What do we say? Delighted to see. I am delighted to be here. You know, I'm so happy to be here. I'm delighted to hear that. Очень рад это услышать. I'm delighted to meet you. Don't just say pleased to meet you. Delighted to meet you. Really pleased. So, delighted. Delight. Next. Контейнеровозы перевозят грузы по всему миру. Грузы. Container ships transport goods all over the world. So, of course, you know the word good. But did you know that goods is a word for товары, грузы, goods? And you can have I saw a goods train. Not a good train. A goods train. It's another word for a freight train, which I also can't type using voice typing. A goods train or a freight train. So goods are transported. 205. Телевизор оснащен 32-дюймовым экраном. 32 dюйм. I don't know. I can't do numbers. Anyway, in English, it's a 32-inch. The TV has a 32-inch screen. So if we're talking about дюймы, in English they are inches. Remember, inch starts with a vowel, so it's pronounced with connected speech. 2 winches. I wrote 2 winches, that's что-то другое. 2 inches. 3 inches. 4 inches. 5 inches. 6 inches. 7 inches. Do you hear? Every word is pronounced connected with the previous one. 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, 7 inches. Connected speech. Okay, next one, 206. Я начну, запущу, скорее тут. Я запущу свой курс в следующем месяце. I'm talking about a запуск. I will launch my course next month. Launch. Hold the L. Launch. Launch. I will launch my course next month. Launch. And the noun is the same. Все ли готово к запуску? Is everything ready for the launch? Let's have a look at some things that we often launch. So we'll do nouns before launch. So you can have a missile launch. That's about missile is военная ракета. A shuttle launch. Shuttles are the spaceships that go to the International Space Station. A product launch. Oops. A product launch. Or a rocket launch. So in English, rockets are for space and missiles are for the army. A book launch. When a new book is launched. Important, these are all compound nouns, so the stress is always on the first word. Missile launch, shuttle launch, product launch, rocket launch, book launch. So launch is de-stressed in these compound nouns. Okay, 207. Пирог состоит из 3 слоев. What's слой in English? The cake has 3 layers. 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 Try to hold the l. Layers. Layers. First layer, second layer, third layer, layers. The next one, 208. Nie mogli by wy odłożyć mnie rучку? Very polite question. Can you lend me a pen? So, lend is одолжить, give for a short time. I think often you just say дайте мне, дайте мне ручку, пожалуйста. But in English, we often say lend. And it's lend, lent, lent. So, my friend lent me his lawnmower. Lawnmower is газонокосильщика. Or газонокосилка. Yeah, газонокосилка, lawnmower. My friend lent me his lawnmower. Lend, and actually listen to the difference. Lend and lent. The big difference is the n. In lend, I really hold the n before the voiced d. Lend, lend. But in lent, lent, I clip the n and do a little pause before the unvoiced t at the end. Lend, lent, lend, lent, lend, lent. So, can you lend me a pen? He lent me his lawnmower. 209. Мне нужно купить стиральный порошок. Порошок? I need to buy washing powder. 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 To pronounce the p, smile. Because this word starts with pa, like power, mush, powder. Pow, powder. 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 Next. Мое заявление на визу было отклонено. My visa application was rejected. Sometimes I think that the company Visa have paid the voice typing people, because whenever I say Visa, I get Visa with a capital V, like I'm talking about the company. No, not the company. Just the normal word, Visa. Come on. My visa application was rejected. Заявление визы было отклонено. You may know the word to refuse. There's to refuse and there's to reject. Here we have отклонить, but they're also close to отказаться. Я получил вот отказ. So what's the difference between refuse and reject? First difference, we always use, if we're using a verb later, you can't use reject. She refused to go on a date with me. Сказала нет. But I can't say she rejected to go on a date. It's wrong. You can't use reject with a verb. So we only use reject with nouns. Reject plus a noun, refuse plus a verb. But which nouns do we often use with reject? Let's have a look. So, collocates, reject, and find, nouns. Oh, they're here anyway. My idea. They rejected my idea. Notion is also, it's another word for idea. I reject the idea. I reject the notion. They rejected the offer. They rejected the proposal. They rejected my argument. And usually when you reject something, you don't even consider it. It's just no. They present the idea. No. Just no. They don't consider it. They just, no, not interested. That's to reject. And as you can see, we often reject ideas, arguments, claims, plans, etc. Reject. And the noun is rejection. В детстве я испытал отвержение. I experienced rejection as a child. If you experience rejection, then you can say Я чувствовал себя отвергнутым. I felt like a reject. I felt like a reject. So somebody who is rejected is a reject. A reject. And that is our first set of 10 words. So now is a good time to press pause, maybe look back at the words, and if you have got full access to the course, then you can practice all these words on my website, hopkinsenglish.com, and in my app, Hopkins English. So practice the words and then come back and I will talk about the next set of 10. The second set of 10 words. Number 211. В Греции много древних руин. What's древний in English? There are many ancient ruins in Greece. Ancient. Ancient. It's quite a strange word. You can't see that it's A at the beginning, but it is. Ancient. Lots of y. Ancient. And then the last part of it sounds like that. Shnt. Ancient. 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 And actually ruins is an interesting word. Okay, in Russian you can say ruin. You don't need to put a w sound between the vowels, but we do. We don't like two vowels next to each other. So we say ruins. Ruins. Ancient ruins. What else can be ancient? Let's have a quick look. Ancient. We talk about ancient history. She's an expert in ancient history. I'm very interested in the ancient world. And we talk about ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, ancient Rome, ancient gods. So as you can see, we usually use ancient to speak about at least 3,000 years ago, I think. So ancient usually means really, really old. You can't say ancient to talk about the 1950s. No, it's really old if it's ancient, like thousands of years. I think in Russian you can talk about Древний Русь, but in English there is no ancient Russia because Russia didn't exist 3,000 years ago. So there's no ancient France, ancient Britain, ancient Russia. These countries did not exist. But ancient Greece, ancient Egypt, they existed. Next one, 212. Белки закапывают орехи. Закапывают. What do they do? Squirrels bury nuts. But what sounds much more fun is this sentence. Squirrels bury berries. Oh, it didn't work. Squirrels bury berries. These berries were buried by a squirrel. There we go. Because bury, the verb, and berry, ягоды, these words sound the same. To bury berries. Squirrels like burying berries. There we go. Burying berries. So yes, it looks like bury or bury, but we say bury. And он был похоронен рядом со своей женой. He was buried next to his wife. Buried. It's an eh. I know it's weird. We write you, but we say eh. And похороны, you can say the burial. На похоронах присутствовало много людей. Many people attended the burial. And another word for kладбище is there is a burial ground near my home. But if it's burial ground, it sounds quite like язычное, quite pagan. Usually if it's Christian, then it's a cemetery or a graveyard. But if it's pagan, it can be a burial ground. Okay, 213. Мне сделали небольшую операцию. Небольшую, in this context, of course, a little, but there's another word. I had a minor operation. Just minor. It was nothing major. So major, kind of important. Minor, not very important. What nouns often come after minor? Let's have a look. In America they have the Major League Baseball, the big league, and minor league baseball, like the little league. We often talk about minor injuries. It's not serious, it's a minor injury. Повреждения or травмы. Minor changes, little and unimportant. So minor means little and unimportant. But меньшинства, minorities. Наша организация защищает права этнических меньшинств. Our organization defends the rights of ethnic minorities. So the stress moves. Minor, the adjective. Minorities, the noun. Minority, hold the na. Minorities. In the previous lesson, we had the word majority, большинство, the majority, the minority. Majority, minority. Next. Никто не возражал против этого решения. If we're talking about возражение, then we can use the word oppose. Nobody opposed the decision. There was no opposition to the decision. So we can also use the noun opposition. There was no opposition. Nobody opposed the decision. And the person who opposes me is my opponent. She is a tough opponent. A tough opponent. Жесткий противник. Next one. Этот кабель подключен к розетке. К розетке. This cable is plugged in. So a plug is something that we put into a hole. So we also have a plug in the sink, раковина, or in the bath. If you pull the plug out, all the water will run out. Remember, water runs. Течет. It runs. So if you pull the plug out of the bath, all the water will run out of the bath or run out of the sink. So that thing is the plug, and it's the same with electricity. We have a hole in the wall, that's the розетка, and then the вилка that goes in, that's called the plug, because it goes in the hole. And to put it in is to plug it in. It's plugged, plugged. Try to get the g, plugged, plugged in, plugged in. And if it's not plugged in, then отсоединен от розетки, не работает. Sometimes that happens where you look everywhere. Why isn't it working? I don't understand why it's not working. A cable is unplugged. And then you feel silly because it's so obvious. It was unplugged. 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 So, plug it in, unplug it. Plug it in, unplug it. Next one. Первый спутник был отправлен в космос в 1957 году. So, Sputnik in English is a satellite. The first satellite was sent into space in 1957. Satellite. Hold the s. Satellite. Satellite. And actually, London has many satellite towns. We use this phrase satellite towns to talk about the towns that go around a big city. Moscow also has many satellite towns. And the world has many satellites. Okay, next one. Он поскользнулся на льду. He slipped on the ice. Slipped, slipped. It's not sleep. Sleeped. With your mouth open. Slipped. Slipped. It's all about the s and the l with a very short I with your mouth open. Slipped. 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 Slipped on the ice. А если мои руки соскальзывают, не могу держаться. My hands are slipping. Let's try this. He's slipping. He's sleeping. She's slipping. She's sleeping. If you can do that with голосовой ввод текста, voice typing, then you have really mastered the I and the E sound. It's difficult. And to really get it, you need to do a very short I in slipping. But sleeping, slipping. Sleep. Look at the position. Sleep, slip. Sleep, slip. Sleeping, slipping. Sleeping, slipping. Sleeping, my mouth is closed. Slipping, my mouth is open. Try it with голосовой ввод текста. See what you can do. And если дорога скользкая, the road is slippery. Very often in Britain, people just say slippy. The road is slippy. Slippy. But the correct word is slippery. Slippery. But I guess we're lazy. We drop the R and we say slippy. Slippy. Slippery. Also, he's a slippery person. If he's a slippery person, then you really can't trust him. Because he might not be telling the truth. He might be trying to deceive you, trying to trick you. He's a slippery person. Slippery. Okay, next one. Лед – это твердая вода. So water is a liquid. Жидкость. Ice is a solid. And ice is solid water. The lake is frozen solid. So solid, hard. There's another meaning of solid as well. You can't overtake when there is a solid line in the middle of the road. So a solid line is splashная линия. So solid for materials, not liquid. It's the opposite of liquid. You know, gases, liquids, solids, but also a solid line. Solid. 219. У лисы пушистый хвост. A fox has a bushy tail. Хвост is tail. Here we have an A sound before a L. And usually when we have A before a L at the end of a word, we add a syllable. Tail. 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 A bushy tail. Tail. And the last word in this set of 10, мы вернемся к этой теме в следующем семестре. There is a word semester. It's quite popular in America, but in Britain, we usually talk about terms. We will return to this topic next term. So especially if you're at school, it's better to talk about terms. In England, the school year is divided into 3 terms. The Christmas term ends at Christmas. The Easter term ends at Easter. The summer term ends in summer. So we have the Christmas term, the Easter term, and the summer term. And in the middle of each term, there is a half-term holiday. In the middle of each term. So term is an important word for the English, or the British, I should say, education system. And that is another set of 10 words. So it's a good time to press pause, repeat the words, take a break, and then come back. I will talk about another set of 10. Okay, the next set of 10. The first one is a very important word for emails. Пожалуйста, ознакомьтесь с прилагаемыми документами. Please find the documents attached. And if documents are attached, then they are attachments. I forgot to send the attachments. Have you ever done that? Have you ever written an email? Please find attached these documents. And then forgotten to actually attach the documents. I've done that quite a few times. Definitely more than once. So, attach is привязать, прилагать. Она очень привязана к своей собаке. She is very attached to her dog. And of course, you can also attach something to something. So, this rope is attached to the tree. Of course, you can say it's tied round no, it is привязать, isn't it? With a rope. It's attached to the tree. Or this beam is attached to the door. A beam is a long piece of wood that you use when you're building something. It's attached to the door. This picture is attached to the wall. So attached to is anything that's fixed to something in any way, really. It can be stuck, it can be tied, it can be nailed. There are many ways of attaching things to things. To attach. Okay, next one. Number 222. Ваш экзамен будет состоять из 3 частей. Состоять из. Your exam will consist of 3 parts. It'll consist To consist of. Состоить из. My course consists of 4 blocks. Each block consists of around 80 lessons. Each lesson consists of a video, a speaking task, a writing task, and flashcards. Consists of. So, if you want to buy access to the full course so that you can do the speaking task, the writing task, and the flashcards, then check out my website, hopkinsenglish.com. You can try the course, and if you like it, you can buy access and practice. So that's consist of. 223. Я не осмелился пригласить ее на танец. I've never used this word осмелился in Russian, but in English this verb is used a lot. I didn't dare to ask her to dance. I think maybe we use I didn't dare when in Russian you talk about being застеснялся as well. I was too shy. That's застеснился. We're talking about being застенчивый. And I didn't dare to talk to her. But it could also be I was too scared. I didn't dare to jump in the water. So, to dare. You need courage to dare to do something. Next one, 224. Экономика не восстанавливалась в течение многих десятилетий. What's десятилетий? What's десятилетие? The economy didn't recover for many decades. Some people say decades. Some people say decades. I think both are correct. So you can say decades or decades. Decades. Both are correct. Personally, I say decades. And when we talk about decades, we talk about the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the noughties, the 2010s. Something like that. I'm not sure about the 2010s because it's something new. Also, the noughties is also something new, but it's becoming more and more widely used. So, that is how to talk about decades. Next one, 225. Пожалуйста, удалите эту фотографию. Удалить. I'm sure you've seen this button somewhere. If you have any device in English, you've seen this button. Please delete that photograph. When you say delete, really try to clip the E sound. Delete. Delete. I should write it like that, really. Delete that photograph. Delete it. I don't like it. Let's see what can be deleted. Let's put in noun. And then were deleted. Items were deleted. The file was deleted. The comment was deleted. The account was deleted. The post, if we're talking about social media, the post was deleted. Delete. Okay, next one. Я хотел бы выразить свои глубочайшие соболезнования. Выразить. To express. I would like to express my deepest condolences. Let's tidy this up. There, I have tidied it up. To express. Listen carefully. To express. To express. It almost sounds like It sounds a bit like the chocolate bar, Twix. To express. Twix. It sounds a little bit like saying Twixpress. To express. Twix. To express. I would like to express my deepest condolences. When we say express, the stress is on the second syllable, so it's even more important to use connected speech. Sometimes if the stress is on the first syllable, we don't do connected speech, but in a case like this, always, every time, to express. So in this sentence, we need to do the same thing. Пожалуйста, примите это выражение моей преданности. Please accept this expression of my devotion. Expression. It was here with accept as well. Please accept, connected speech because the stress is on the second syllable. Please accept. And then this expression, this expression, this expression, connected speech, very important. We also use expression like выражение in the language. I like that expression. Да, мне нравится это выражение, хорошее выражение. It's a nice expression. Nice expression, connected speech, very important. Если его речь очень выразительна, then the adjective is his speech is very expressive. Very connected speech, very expressive. Yeah. And there's also, this is the express train to London. So an express train doesn't stop, or it has less stops. The express. Next one, 227. Моя христианская вера очень важна для меня. Вера. What's вера in English? My Christian faith is very important to me. Faith. It's an A sound, but it's between two unvoiced syllables. So, faith. We clip the A. Faith. More f. Faith. My faith. My face. My faith. My face. My faith, my face. My faith, my face. Try it. See if you can do voice typing with these words. It will test your pronunciation of the th sound. Faith, face, faith, face, faith, face. Okay, next one. 228. Ее успех вдохновляет меня. Вдохновляет. Her success inspires me. It inspires. Aya, inspires me. Inspired me to... Let's see. There won't be many phrases. Oh, there are quite a lot actually. It inspired me to write a novel. Роман. Вот вдохновление пришло. She inspired me to start running. They inspired me to get fit. Get fit is about форма. Привести себя в порядок. Форму. They inspired me to try a new sport. So, we love talking about inspiration. People, especially in the media, they talk about inspiration all the time, constantly. Inspire. We want to inspire the next generation, следующее поколение. We want to be an inspiration to them, to young people everywhere. Inspire. Его лидерство вдохновляет. His leadership is inspiring. Connected speech again, is inspiring. Is inspiring. And где вы черпаете свое вдохновение? Where do you get your inspiration? Your inspiration. I get my inspiration from, I don't know, my heroes. Next one, 229. Я жду повышения по службе. So at work, we talk about повышение at work, then it's a promotion. I'm waiting for a promotion. Promotion. Here we have the O sound, and sometimes when we say O, like no, there's a lot of w. No, go. But before sh, it's clipped. So we get promotion, promotion, promotion. And we hold the m as well. Promotion, a promotion. I'm waiting for a promotion. А если в прошлом году меня повысили должность, then I was promoted last year. We also talk about promotion in football. If you go from the second league to the first league, then you are promoted. Promoted. And we also talk about promotions when we talk about marketing. So, I don't know. They promote different health products in their magazine. So in this context, it's продвигать, I think. Продвигают. To promote different products in marketing. So there's promotion in marketing and there's a promotion at work. And number 230, the last one in this set of 10, доступно обновление. An update is available. So here we have the noun. When it's a noun, the stress is on the first syllable. An update. An update is available. Update. Update. But when it's a verb, the stress is on the second syllable. Пожалуйста, обновите приложение. Please update the application. The update is available, so please update the application. So, first syllable, and second syllable. The update is available, so please update the application. There's another nice phrase, up to date. This technology is not up to date. Актуально in this context. No, it's уже не актуальное. It's already old. So the opposite of old can be up to date. It doesn't have to be new to be up to date. But if it's up to date, it uses the most modern stuff. Up to date. And that's all for this set of 10. So it's a good time to press pause. You can take a break. You can repeat the words. You can even practice the words on hopkinsenglish.com. And then come back to watch the next set of 10. Okay, the fourth set of 10 in this lesson, word number 231. Я умолял ее замолчать. Умоляю. I begged her to stop talking. I begged her. I beg you. I'm begging you. Please, I'm begging. Begging. Look, begging. Begging. My mouth's open. Begging. 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 Look at yourself in the mirror, maybe on your phone, and check. Egg. Begging. Open your mouth. Okay, next one. Попрошайки. На платформе стояли две попрошайки. There were two beggars on the platform. Beggars, why? Because they beg for money. Please, please give me money. Beggars. Beggars, попрошайки. To beg, умолять. Beg, beggars. Тебе нужно еще одно одеяло? What's одеяло? Do you need another blanket? Blanket. Here we have an a before an unvoiced k. So we get blanket. Blanket. We really clip. If we were saying that, ang, the would be very long. But because it's ank, it gets clipped. Blanket. 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 It's not blanket. 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 And at the end, the kit, the it almost disappears because it's between two unvoiced consonants. Blanket. Blanket. Kit. Kit. Can you hear? Kit. 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 Almost no voice. Blanket. Blanket. Next one. 233. Я разговариваю с клиентом. Но именно клиент в магазине. It's important. I'm talking to a customer. I actually think instead of клиентом here, it would be better to say с покупателем, probably. Although maybe not покупателем because they might not buy it. So maybe it is с клиентом. I don't know. But customer is клиент в магазине. So a customer buys something. A client, Russian letters. A client uses a service. A customer buys a product. So customers buy things, clients pay for services. So, you buy courses from me, but I wouldn't say you're my customers. You're more my clients because what I offer is more like a service than a product, I would say. So I would describe the people I work with as clients. I don't have a shop, you know? Whereas if you have a shop, then you have customers. But this use of customs seems to be something quite different. Меня остановил таможенник. Again, airports. If you have ever been in an airport, you have seen this word. I was stopped by a customs officer. So customs officers are таможники. We haven't been through customs yet. Мы еще не прошли таможню. Customs. You have to pay a customs duty to bring that into the country. So customs can be about таможня. And also about обычаи. Мы уважаем обычаи наших предков. We respect the customs of our ancestors. And there's also the adjective customary. It was customary for people to gather here after the harvest. I don't know. Customary, customs. I think a customer is somebody, like, at least it used to be somebody who often came to the same shop. It was customary for them to visit. So a customer was somebody who was kind of regular in the past. I think that's where it came from. As for customs duties, no idea. I don't know why they're called customs duties. Next one. Я не хотел тебя отвлекать. I didn't mean to distract you. Of course, you know the word attract. It's very often about attention. You attract attention. And distract is nearly always about attention. The child is easily distracted. Легко отвлекается. Easily distracted. It's true for Philip, my son. He's easily distracted. But he's only 7. I think it's normal at that age to be easily distracted. To distract. There's also a word, to disturb. Please don't disturb me. So what's the difference? Don't distract me and don't disturb me. In hotels, you often see the sign on the door, do not disturb. If you disturb somebody, you change their environment. To disturb, it's to do with the senses. When you disturb somebody, you make them feel something. If you distract somebody, you take away their attention. So distract is about attention and disturb is about feeling. And if you put do not disturb on the door, you're saying, don't change my environment. Just leave me alone. It's not about attention, really. It's not don't take my attention. It's just don't do anything. I don't want to notice you. So these words are close, disturb and distract. But there's a difference. Я хочу работать ни на что не отвлекаясь. I want to work without distraction. So the noun is distraction. Remember, we have a TR, and TR is pronounced ch with a sh sound. Without distraction. Next one. Я читаю много художественной литературы. I read a lot of fiction. Just don't say fiction like we don't say fish. We say fiction. Really short I before the k. Fiction. A lot of fiction. I like science fiction. Sci-fi. So, science fiction is fantastica, I think. And fantasy is fantasia. I get a bit confused in Russian. Science fiction, space, Star Wars, that stuff is science fiction. Fiction. She is a fictional character. She never lived in real life. Fictional. Из литературы. Fiction. Next. Хурма обладает необычным вкусом. Хурма is persimmon. Persimmon has an unusual flavor. Of course, American flavor is flavor. Now, if something is безвкусный, it's flavorless. It has no flavor. It's very flavorsome. Flavorsome. It has a lot of flavor. That is a word. Yes, that is a word. Yes. Flavorsome. Let's put it into here with American spelling. Flavorsome. No. Ah, that's interesting. Flavorsome. No matching records. Maybe it's not a word. I think it is. There we go. Flavoursome juice. Flavoursome grain. Flavoursome comedy. I don't know why. Anyway, whereas if I put in flavourless, there will be more, I think. More words. There we go. Oh, not so many more. Anyway, flavourless chicken, flavourless food. Flavourless meat has no flavour. Flavourless writing. This is writing so dull, boring. It has no flavour. Flavour. Okay. Next one. 237. У многих людей есть проблемы с психическим здоровьем. This is a very hot topic in Britain, I think in America too. Психическое здоровье. Many people have problems with their mental health. People talk about mental health all the time. Mental. Long ma. Mental health. Psychiczne zdrowie. My psychologist really helped me with my mental health. In Britain, my therapist really helped me with my mental health. No, this is in America. So in America, therapist. In Britain, psychologist. They help me with my mental health. Mental health. Mental. The adjective we also say, like, that's mental. Like, what? Seriously, that's mental. Incredible. Mental. I can't believe it. So we use it as a synonym for incredible and shocking. Mental. 238. W Brytanii miękki klimat. Miękkie. It's not soft. Britain has a mild climate. Mild. Try to get this l sound before the d. Mild. L. It's in the throat. It's dark l. Mild climate. Mild. Mild climate. The opposite of mild is harsh. Siberia has a harsh climate. So mild, harsh. And there's a nice expression, мягко говоря. It's a difficult situation, to put it mildly. Мягко говоря, to put it mildly. Ooh, yeah, to put it mildly. Actually, while we're on mild, let's have a quick look at what other things can be mild, apart from the climate. A mild winter. Last year was a mild winter. Мягкая зима. It wasn't very cold. Mild weather, mild concussion. Concussion is when it's something with your head. When you get hit on the head, and then it can be mild, it can be serious. And that's true for different illnesses. You can have severe depression, mild depression. Number 239. Этот шлем защитит вашу голову. This helmet will protect your head. So we're talking about защита. And of course, for защита, there are two words. To protect, to defend. So what's the difference? Well, to protect is to prevent harm. Предотвращать вред. To defend is to stop an attack. So they're slightly different. But defense is like активная защита, потому что кто-то нападает, someone's attacking, and I fight back. That's defense. Protection, it stops harm, but it doesn't fight. So you could say, the umbrella protects me from the rain. The rain can make me wet. It can harm me. But my umbrella protects me. Or the wall protects me from the wind. The wind could come and make me cold, harm me. But the wall protects me. But the wall does not fight the wind. It does not try to stop the wind. It just protects me. But to defend, it defends me. It actually fights against the attacker. So, they're slightly different. Он является экспертом в области защиты данных. He is an expert in data protection. Data protection. You protect your data. And мне нужна новая защитная пленка для экрана. I need a new screen protector. It's a screen protector because it protects my screen from harm. And actually here we have a list of things which are often protected. I want to protect people. I want to protect the rights of people. Защита прав. You can, if you protect their rights, это предотвращение Vred, so they can't be taken away. If you defend their rights, then somebody is trying to take the rights, but you defend them. You stop the attacker. So, slightly different meanings. To protect the environment, you stop people harming the environment. That's to protect the environment. If you defend the environment, you actually go and you fight the people who want to cut down the trees. Then you're defending the trees. So slightly different meanings. The last one in this set, 240, это опасное оружие. This is a dangerous weapon. Be careful, whatever you do, make sure that there's a gap between your lips and your teeth. Because if your lips are close to your teeth, you will say weapon. It's not weapon, it's weapon. So, like you want to kiss somebody, weapon. And the back of your tongue should also be up near your throat. Weapon. 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 And make the w longer as well. A dangerous weapon. And that's all for another set of 10. So press pause, review the words, practice them, then come back and I will talk about the final set of 10 in today's lesson. The last set of 10, number 241, учебный год начинается в сентябре. Учебный is the academic year starts in September. The academic year. The academic year. Stress is on the a. The academic year. Academic. Academic. But when it's a noun, мой дядя ученый, the stress is on e. My uncle is an academic. Academics live according to the academic year. So, academics, stress on that syllable, live according to the academic year. Academics, academic year. Sometimes people think ученый is a scientist. Not always, because scientists do science, and usually science means physics, biology, chemistry, maybe medicine, it's also science. But if you are a historian or a literature expert or an art expert, then you're an academic. You're not a scientist because history is not considered a science. So, academic is the word for all ученые, and scientist is only for people who work in естественные науки. Sometimes people talk about social sciences, sociology, politics, political science, etc. But scientist is usually for the hard sciences. 242, 2-4, четные числа. 2 and 4 are even numbers. And 1 and 3 are odd numbers. So you should learn these words together. Odd and even. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Odd numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Even numbers. And there's another phrase with even that you should know. Spread the butter evenly on the bread. Равномерно. Evenly. Same amount everywhere. Spread it evenly. Next one, 243. Экскурсия с гидом была абсолютно увлекательной. I'm not sure about that sentence in Russian. The guided tour was absolutely fascinating. Be careful with the word excursia. Usually excursia is a tour, not an excursion. An excursion is when you get in a bus and you go somewhere outside the city and then you come back. That's an excursion, like from the hotel, for example. Whereas if you go to a museum or to a palace, you have a tour. of the palace, a tour of the garden. It's not an excursion if you don't travel by transport. Anyway, here the word is fascinating. It's fascinating. Fascinating. I really want to emphasize this word, fascinating. And I say f. I do a lot of f. Not a lot of ah, a lot of f. Fascinating. It's fascinating. What can be fascinating? Let's have a look. I think we're going to see maybe a book, an article. Let's have a look. Fascinating. It's a fascinating story. It's so interesting. It's a fascinating book. I know some fascinating people. They're really interesting, fascinating. We use the word interesting a lot, obviously. Try to add the word fascinating to your active vocabulary and sound more sophisticated. Okay, the next one. Вы проверяли прогноз погоды? Прогноз. Have you checked the weather forecast? So it's the forecast. And если на завтра прогнозируется дождь, you can say rain is forecast for tomorrow. Obviously, there is the Russian word прогноз. There is an English word prognosis. But we only use this word prognosis in medicine. So, the doctor gave me a good prognosis. Like, everything will probably be fine. That's a good prognosis. But it's only for medicine. If we talk about the weather, we talk about forecasts. If we talk about the economy, we talk about forecasts. Look what words often come before forecast. Let's just have any word before forecast. Obviously, we get all of those words, but then, there we go. Economic forecast. National forecast, growth forecast, profit forecast. So, прогноз. Next one. 245. Огонь погас. The fire went out. I always forget the word погас in English. It's the same for lights. The lights went out. Went out. Kind of strange idea, because they can't come in. The fire certainly can't come in, but it can go out. Strange. We lit the fire, but it went out. We switched on the lights, then they went out. Strange phrase, but you need to remember it. It's the only way to talk about погас. It went out. 246. Я ношу маску, потому что я хочу избежать заражения. If we're talking about заражение, the word you need is infection. I wear a mask because I want to avoid infection. Infection. I don't want to get infected. And then there's the adjective. Oops. It's an infectious disease. I know this phrase in Russian, I've forgotten it. Инфекционное заболевание. It's easy then. Infectious. Infectious. You can also sometimes say, laughter is infectious. Somebody laughs and then everybody else laughs. Yawning is infectious. Yawning at the it's infectious. You probably want to yawn now. You saw me yawn and you want to yawn. It's infectious. Infectious. Hold the f, then a really short eh. Infectious. Infectious. Okay, 247. Я не знаю его намерений. I don't know his intentions. So, намерение, intentions. It's a useful word You can also use it as an adjective, если что-то было ненамеренно. It was not intentional. Or it was unintentional. Not intentional, unintentional, it's the same. I wonder what verbs often come after intentionally. Intentionally, verb. You intentionally walked in front of me. Намеренно. You intentionally hurt my feelings. Повредил мои чувства. You intentionally set a trap for me. Trap is ловушка. You did it intentionally. With intention. Намеренно. Что вы собираетесь делать? I'm sure you know. What are you going to do? But what are you intending to do is a bit more formal. What are you intending to do? What are you going to do? The meaning is basically the same. But intending, intentions, it sounds a little bit more formal. So, intending. 248. Новая плотина предотвратит наводнение. The new dam will prevent floods. Prevent. Prove. We don't say pre, but prevent. Hold the v. Prevent floods. It will prevent floods. Let's see what other nouns often come after prevent. That will be interesting, maybe fascinating. Prevent, then nouns. Let's have a look. They want to prevent. We want to prevent disease, illness. So, of course, when we talk about health, we can use it. We want to prevent damage to our reputation. We want to prevent the spread of violence. So, spread is распространение. Мы хотим предотвратить. Мы хотим прекратить, maybe, as well. We want to prevent it. We don't want it. Prevent. Я верю в профилактическую медицину. I believe in preventative medicine. So the adjective is preventative. Preventative medicine. Preventative. 249. Все моряки были спасены. All the sailors were rescued. You probably know the word saved, and yes, we could say save in this context, but there's another good word, rescue. And to pronounce it correctly, we need a good r at the beginning. Rescue. Not a lot of vowel. There's not a lot of air. It's more rescue. Rescue. The sailors were rescued. Let's put in rescue. Who gets rescued? Let's have a look. We often talk about rescue workers, a rescue mission, a rescue team, rescue teams, a rescue operation, a rescue effort, это усилие для спасения. So, usually you get these compound nouns. Rescue workers are on a rescue mission, in a rescue team, as part of a rescue operation. They want to rescue people. Rescue. То, что делает МЧС. Rescue. В спасательной операции приняли участие 30 человек. 30 people took part in the rescue mission. And here we have a compound noun, so the stress is on rescue, mission is unstressed. Rescue mission. Rescue mission. And the person who rescues is a rescuer. Она поблагодарила своих спасателей. She thanked her rescuers. There is a word, she thanked her saviors. You saved my life. Which we could use in this context. But usually, if it's a firefighter, if it's someone from MCS, they rescue. They are rescuers. And the last word in today's lesson. Они продвигают различные продукты в своем подкасте. They promote various products on their podcast. Various. It starts with the same word that we have in parents. People usually just say parents, parents, various. It's not various. Very, various. Very, various. Very is just an eh, but various is a double sound. Various, various, very various, very various. There's a slight difference. And in this context, it's различные. What else can be various? We'll have a quick look. Various. Yeah, we often talk about various forms. There are various forms of COVID-19. There are various ways of treating COVID-19. There are various types of treatment for COVID-19. Различные. Various. Make the air really long. And that's all. So, you've made it to the end of the video, but you still have work ahead of you because you need to practice these words. You need to pronounce these words lots of times. And as you do that, then you will get used to saying it and you will get it into your active vocabulary. So, good luck with that. Remember my question about my language in this lesson. Can you understand me? Is my language clear? Would you like me to use simpler language? Or would you like me to speak Russian? Please let me know in comments. All right. Bye.